It's
day.
1:18.
My board's what time I usually,
2
it's
days,
funny, it's like
a
half,
day and a half ahead
it's
of
9.5
now.
hours, it's like weird, like,
Yeah.
what's with the half an hour? Could you just make
Yeah.
it a whole hour, make my life easier?
Okay,
That's just missing a half.
Okay,
So turning in and out.
ready?
we're ready.
Use that gavel on candy.
Good evening and welcome. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the East Amwell Township Joint Planning and Zoning Board.
Let's call this order to order and do this, do the flag salute.
Oh,
The call to order the East Amwell Planning Board of October 21st, 2025. All rise for the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Kate.
good evening and welcome. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the East Amwell Township Joint Planning and Zoning Board. Pursuant to the resolution adopted on January 21, 2025, with meeting notice sent to the Hunterdon Democrat on January 24th, 2025. A copy of the agenda for this meeting was posted on the municipal website, posted on the bulletin board, and filed in the clerk's office on October 17th, 2025. Looks like Mr. Catenacci is absent. Ms. Deadweiler?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Mr. Kadri?
Here.
Mr. Kohut and Mr. Lathan are absent. Mr. McGovern?
Here.
Mr. Nardi?
Here.
Ms. Wiggum?
Here.
Ms. Hussein?
Here.
And Ms. Teresi?
Here. Review the agenda. We don't have any significant changes. I just want to mention that the amended land use element, we'll be discussing that briefly, and then setting the hearing for next month. So there's not actually a formal introduction. I was confused on the ordinance versus land use element. So just wanted to mention that. Other than that, no changes. May I have a motion to open to the huge public that's here?
So moved.
Without objection, we are open to the public. Going once, going twice. Okay. Without objection, we are closed to the public. Presentation of minutes. We've got slowly catching up. Down, do one and then one extra. So, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from October 21st since 2024? Wow, it's a year. No.
To the day.
To the day. Oh my God. And September 16th, 2025. And do you know who votes on what? Should we do each of these individually?
The only person who is not voting is Mr. Latham, who's not here.
Okay.
So I believe we're good.
Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 21st, 2024, and September 16th, 2025?
I would like to make a motion to approve those minutes.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Resolution for approval. This is the annual report. By law, the zoning board gives an annual report to the township committee. So we talked about this last month. This month you have the final in your packet. We can have a brief discussion if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, I'll ask for a motion. Al and Dante, you receive this, so you don't vote on it. But, you know, anyone wants to bring anything up, you're welcome to briefly.
Thank you, Emily, for pulling this together.
You're welcome. Any questions? Okay, may I have a motion to adopt the 2024 annual report of the zoning board to the township committee?
I so moved.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Okay.
Do we do a full vote on this,
Do we need a full
Sharon?
vote?
Yeah, it's basically a resolution, so.
Okay, my bad.
I mean,
Okay,
There's a form in here, but all it's
Okay.
doing is approving the reports.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Katie.
Ms. Deadweiler?
Yes.
Mr. Kadri?
Yes.
Mr. McGovern?
Yes.
Ms. Wiggum?
Yes.
Ms. Hussein and,
Yes.
and Ms. Teresi?
Yes.
Okay.
So that motion is adopted, or the resolution is, the motion is adopted, right? Okay. Invoices.
Sorry.
Okay. Invoices, we're going through all the really fun stuff first, right? The invoices for approval. Has everyone had a chance to look at those invoices? Okay, any questions? May I have a motion to approve the invoices for Mason Griffin Pearson, the invoice for, the two invoices for Van Cleef, and the single invoice for Kyle McManus? Kyle and McManus. Do you have a motion?
So
So moved. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Any objections? Okay, all the invoices are approved. Okay, item for discussion. This is the amended land use element for the local business, highway office, village, and residential districts. We've talked about this a couple times, and you'll also see some of the same themes referenced in the annual report from the zoning board to the township committee, that some of these issues of, particularly as it relates to downtown Ringo's, the historic district, and also some of the language that was in the earlier versions of the land use plan, for lack of a better word, in my read as co-development, and I think was confusing to people who then took that language and came before this board. So myself and a couple other people working with Jim have worked on it, sort of a proposed black line changes. We don't need to have a long discussion about it. Just I wanted to give some of the background of it. If there's anything in particular in the document you would like to discuss or want to change, we can either have a short discussion here, or we have time to make any changes before we actually have a hearing next month. Timeline to have the final would be, what, 2 weeks from now? If we were going to have a hearing?
10
Yes.
days.
Yeah, we have to notice 10, so, Kate, I don't know if Katie's gonna be able to do it, but somebody's gonna have to send a certified mail to the county, and I think it's local planning services down at
The town, the state,
The state.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to get a copy of it with a certified mail notice.
Okay,
That has to be 10 days prior to the hearing.
yeah,
So the more challenging part these days is getting notice in the newspaper in a timely fashion.
okay,
But we can send it on exactly 10 days prior to the state and
Okay.
county.
but we're pretty, so basically, our intention is to have a public hearing of this in November, at which point it can be adopted. If you go through, the way we did this is we sort of, what do you call it, blacklined it, so you can actually see the changes as opposed to, it's actually black in this.
Yeah, but with the notion of showing the strikeouts.
Showing the
and
striking, showing the
additions.
actual changes, yes.
So you've showed the changes.
printed this off the,
I'm happy to give you,
sent.
here you go.
All right, she's gonna be-
I know it.
I scattered a few.
Now, just a
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Yes,
Was there a document like this before? It looks like this was pulled together from several different documents.
so this is the previous, actually, I will let Jim explain what this is.
Yeah, so May of 2022, the planning board adopted this land use plan element for this area. So what we did was take the original document and show you all the changes that are proposed. A lot of this is wordsmithing. I
Yeah.
think the major stuff is kind of towards the end with the recommendations.
Yeah, and I think the major recommendations, I mean, were, the wordsmithing was really around making it clear that there were places where it said promote development, which we kind of went to manage development, or limit development. We reiterated some of the recommendations around creating the historic district. We actually then acknowledged that the historic district has been created. We didn't go so far as to go into any of the other recommendations around the architectural guidelines, because I think that's a different conversation, but we did acknowledge that those recommendations were still out there. I think the main thing was really just making it clear, being consistent with what the vision is, that we're not looking for development in downtown Ringo's or along 202. And making it, I think, more clear to people who might be looking to East Amwell and saying, what do you want to do there? And not having confusion.
Yeah, to
And
me,
could I-
that was the biggest change.
Yeah.
Was trying to broaden the definition of what we want in especially in the village of Ringo's or the highway. Office,
Yeah,
soon to not be office,
yep,
corridor.
yeah.
Well, so I just wanted to say one thing clarifying. So this land use element covers both Ringo's Village, what we call, 179, 579 right there, but it also encompasses the highway office district along 202. And so, I think to keep this accurate for the way that I think we're thinking about the town is, we don't want to willy-nilly encourage large development everywhere. Rather, we want to make sure there's appropriate development along 202 and make sure that we're enhancing business opportunities in Ringo's without changing the rural character of it. So, that's the intent overall.
Now, Dante, just to clarify too, did this area zoning get changed?
No, this
No.
doesn't change any zoning.
No, you were working before on changing the municipal building designation.
So separate from this
Yeah.
document, right, the town made two changes to our zoning. One was, to change the zoning designation of the lots right here where the municipal building and parking lot are. And secondly, to adopt an overlay zones for historic districts that are the same locations as the federally recognized districts. So those are the only changes in zoning that the township committee has done, and our township engineer just finished updating the map to get put on the website to reflect those things, but there's a process step where it's gotta be introduced to the township committee and then at the subsequent meeting be adopted. So this document is all the visionary stuff and it doesn't change any zoning. It's just to have the planning board have an opportunity to make sure that the vision is right in that, and then the township committee can consider that when thinking about things like, well, do we need to do any zoning changes to accomplish those concepts or promote?
And I do know that, I know, there has been discussion on whether, highway office is a dated term and whether we should look at, we did not want to take that entire thing on. We wanted to make some, modest changes, if you will, to give some clarity. I do think there's more work that needs to be done, but we sort of didn't want to try to boil the ocean here.
And, I mean, from my point of view, some of the things just weren't appropriate for a vision like, hatchet throwing, for example. There were some things in there that didn't seem consonant with the vision. And so, in my opinion, getting this vision more accurate is a great first step, and then the planning board, of course, can think about other things and go into more detail. One of the issues, for example, is what Emily's mentioned. Should we be thinking about it as a highway office zone, or should we be thinking as something else? And if so, what would we recommend changes be? So, but this is an important first step because we want, as Emily said, I think, we want to make sure if you want to run a hatchet throwing operation, you're not thinking, wow, I'm going to East
Just for the
Amwell
record,
because
don't try and open a hatchet
we're not-
throwing.
we're
But if you
not-
want to open a coffee shop,
right, so then that's the fairness part for folks who are thinking of what they could do here, coffee shops or antique shops or whatever we decide, but not that. So getting this done, I think, is a good first step of the process.
anything else?
Well, the other thing I thought about that we worked on recently was home businesses
Yep.
and,
Doesn't need to be in there because,
okay,
because there's an ordinance that's been adopted for that, and we already decided we already reviewed that and said it wasn't inconsistent with the master plan. But I think that's all we need to say on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are other changes we could make but they're not, they're broader, they're zoning changes, wholesale zoning changes, and that would be a bigger change. And then the other thing that we need to do, is actually clean up our ordinances. And Jim, if you want to speak to that. I think that said a lot right there.
Well, so just in the short time that I've been here with the board, and just the few applications that we've seen this year, I've already seen dozens of inconsistencies in language between one section and another, which is something that we really need to clean up. There's some stuff with the grandfathering provisions that we need to work on too, and a perfect example was the subdivision that we saw on Snydertown Road, where, those were two technically non-conforming lots. They weren't really doing much of anything. Like, yeah, one was getting smaller, one was getting bigger, but the grandfathering provisions didn't address that. And they had to come before the board for very specific relief, based on that. So this is like a whole nother level of conversation, that we can do in the context of a re-examination report, because then it's very easy for the township committee to pick up those changes that we need and just go ahead and implement them without a lot of headaches.
Yeah, and I think you've had some conversations, or you started to have some conversations with our zoning officer about this too. I mean,
Yes.
yes, I think
Yeah,
that's,
and I just spoke to her
yeah.
half hour ago or 40 minutes ago, so she's working on it as well.
So typically, so I just went through this with Pennington Borough. We did a re-exam in 2023, and there were a significant number of issues that we identified. But the first thing I do is conversation with the zoning officer. Tell me what you see. You know, because day to day she's dealing with people seeking permits, or you know, so she's kind of the front lines of land use for us. And but that's a pretty. It's going to be a chore, because there are a lot of areas, and of course Rob will have some input on that too, that we need to go through and make some adjustments.
Is there anything else on the land use element? So I'm gonna leave this with the board. If you have specific, after give you time to read it, if you have specific recommendations, if you can get them to me in writing within the next week, or call me, so we can have a look-see, and we can get this out and printed and ready for public hearing next month.
So I think we'd want it to go out by the 6th.
Okay. I still say next week, because I need time.
No, I meant like we need it in the paper.
Yeah, and you need it in paper by the 6th, okay. Is there anything we're missing on this one, Sharon?
No, I think you just have to, do the proper notices, and
Yeah.
you've got, the report itself looks fine.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
dependent on if you wanna make any more changes to it
Okay.
between now and then, but.
Well, so do we need to vote on setting a date for a public hearing?
No, you
or
can just set it,
It's
just let
different.
Emily set it?
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's
the board can kind of like discuss and say, yeah, we'll be okay for, the November
20th.
meeting, right, 20th meeting?
What is the meeting date?
20th. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the 18th.
So are we good with, anyone have any concerns with holding a public hearing on November 18th?
This will
So-
be in the website and.
Will be
everybody
public,
will
it will be
know about
noticed,
that.
we'll post it on the website, the whole,
Peekaboo.
yeah. You said it, Naomi. It's a good one.
Do the
Okay.
clerks need to get notice too?
Just notice.
Yeah, they're,
So our adjoining clerks, they
Yeah.
don't have to get a copy of the document.
I mean, you don't need like notice within 200 feet or anything like that, and it's all in the land use law if you need,
Yeah,
I
I
can
just-
double check with
He
you.
didn't mention the clerks earlier, so
Yeah.
I wanted to
No,
make
we
sure. yeah.
definitely need to do that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to oral reports. Usually we just kind of go informally. Is there anyone who has something they want to they want to update us on? I think no changes. Just one thing from me, we had a long conversation last month about time limits. And I gave it a lot of thought, actually did a little reading, and here's where I've come out, and with your support, I hope we can do this, is that we will set a formal time limit of 5 minutes. People who are either asking questions or giving public comment, specifically as it relates to, in hearings, with the option that, if, a board member can ask to give them an extra 5 minutes, or they can ask for an extra 5 minutes, it'll be in my discretion, right? So, and I will tell you guys, if you want, I don't want to let someone go 10, 15 minutes, but if there's somebody that's speaking, and I recognize all of you are really important, and if there's something you want to hear, I want to know about it, and I support that.
Shall we publish that on our
Yeah, we will
webpage and-
publish it on our webpage, we will make it part of our agenda going forward, and the reason I want to do this is, I thought about it, is it shutting down speech, and, we want to hear everybody. I feel like by not having any limits, we can be here for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, one person. By setting a limit, it also gives the public, sort of time to prepare, that if you're gonna speak, be succinct and prepare your remarks, so we don't have people who come here and think they have a really, really long time, and then are shocked, are surprised. So that's kind of why I came down to, having the limits, I think, is fair to everybody. It's fair to the board, and it's fair to the public, and we leave some discretion. And we will put it as on our website and on our webpage, and we will put it at the beginning. We will actually add it to our agenda.
every agenda.
Every agenda will just be formal, because I think that's the whole point, is setting expectations and being open
Yeah.
about it. So that's where I'm coming out on that, unless there's any concerns, that's where I wanna go on that one, that's my update. Jamal, you look like there's something you wanted to say.
Yeah, Mike Davis from Higher.
Oh, you're going on to something else, okay, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, okay.
sorry, did we want to talk?
No, I just wanted to make sure, I thought, yeah,
okay.
no, we're good,
Yeah, so the farmland preservation plan is getting final changes to the mapping,
okay,
and then Mike is gonna come in and present that to Ag Advisory. We're trying to see if we can have a special meeting when he can actually attend, because I think he has a conflict with the next
Okay.
November meeting.
Okay,
And I anticipate that people are going to approve that for this committee's recommended adoption. So there has to be a public notification of that plan, and that'll be forthcoming.
okay.
And who is the guy that's making the final changes? Mike?
Yeah, Mike Davis. So,
The
you know,
f-
we got comments from
state,
SADC, like
yeah.
very specific technical comments, and he's making those changes.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that that's gonna come before us for November or December? I'm just, we're doing a public hearing for one thing on November, so I'm
I'm
just,
thinking December is more
Okay.
likely.
let's make it a soft goal, that way we can get it over the finish line in 2025.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other updates from oral reports? Okay. Moving right along, we have a completeness hearing. This is for a zoning board matter. May I ask Mr. Nardi and Mr. DeFeo if you could step out for this? And I don't anticipate this will take a long time. If you could, if you don't mind staying around, because we will
back.
then re-adjourn. Okay.
Okay.
Re-adjourn,
Meeting.
resume. Jeez
I'll
Louise.
find you.
Thank you. English is not my first language, apparently. I wish I had that excuse. Okay.
This is just complete.
Yep, so this is just a completeness hearing. I see Mr. Mattis. Do you want to come up, Mr. Mattis? Rob, I have to admit, I read your first completeness memo.
Yes.
I have briefly read your second one, so I might need some help on this one.
Okay.
Usually I'm like right on them.
Apologies for my tardiness.
Would you be more comfortable?
So this is a zoning board matter. Mr. Mattis is applying for minor subdivision and a D5 variance for block 802, lot 26, 1217, Route 179 in the Amwell Valley Agricultural District. If you want to give us the shortest overview, and then we're only gonna discuss whether we have everything we need to hear to take the case.
Okay, so pretty much, you know, we were heard
Do we need
before
to
the
swear in?
planning board before.
This isn't a hearing.
Okay.
It was suggested that we should be seeking a D5 variance for the subdivision that was previously negotiated with the Hunterdon County. And the current property owner, Eric and Norma Zimmerman. In that contract, which I have provided in this application, basically, there was a agreement and a contract written that the Hunterdon County would be entering in a contract with the Zimmermans to purchase 47 acres. And in exchange of entering this contract, if the properties could sustain themselves with residential lots, that there would be two smaller lots provided with this contract. And when we
Let me
went,
pause you. I don't want you to go into all of the detail on
Okay.
the reasons and the whys.
okay,
So I want to ask Mr. O'Brien, do we have what we need, like from a completeness perspective, you want to
Yeah.
take us through
Yeah,
what we
I-
have? And what,
I recommend it be deemed complete.
what,
Um,
what's the word?
Waivers.
What waivers is he asking for, and do you support those waivers?
let's see, item 32, the wetlands,
Okay,
so. They've gotten correspondence back from the DEP that it's going to take 15 months
okay,
after their May 18th submission date, so that sounds about right.
okay,
Unfortunately, DEP is very, very backed up, so I would find that to be a complete item.
for the hearing, and then they would still get the LOI after the fact?
Right,
Yeah,
they'll still
okay.
be getting it, they've applied for it, so I think that deems it, that makes that item complete.
Okay,
They submitted, let's see, other waivers. P2, the name's address of the phone, signatures of the owner and applicant on the plan, I think that can be waived for completeness, that can be done
Okay,
as a condition of approval. Tree survey, they're requesting a waiver on that, they are not taking any trees down, that's been confirmed
okay.
by the planner.
Mr. Mattis, do you have a planner and an engineer that will be here with you?
I do.
Okay, so they can address a lot of these things during the hearing, okay?
Yes.
P42, existing contours, they have them on the property, but we do not have them 100 feet beyond the property. Again, they're requesting a waiver, and there's a response from his planner in his report.
Is there any
So,
reason not to give that waiver? If
I
it's
don't think
beyond the
so.
property bound?
Beyond the boundary, he's not going any,
Okay.
everything's inside the property, so I could support that waiver.
Okay,
And that's the only waivers that are being requested, everything else can be submitted as a condition of approval.
okay.
Well, Rob, how about the, what'd you decide regarding the environmental impact statement, the traffic impact statement, the community, impact?
Well, they said
or-
that was marked incorrectly as being submitted on the first submission, so
Are-
they are requesting a waiver for that.
Yeah,
and
so would you
I would agree with
recommend,
that.
yeah, so those three you would,
It's just that it was marked that it was submitted, but it wasn't,
okay.
so I would
Yeah.
recommend a
But-
waiver.
Recommend, yeah.
The
I
minimal
mean, for what
impact.
this is,
It's a
yeah.
small
yeah.
application, really. So we would do checklist waivers for those items, all
Okay.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
825, 26,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions on this? We got some correspondence from DNR, did we not, on this?
Yes, I guess they're looking for more information on how this property was subdivided to determine. So
If they have
That could
jurisdiction?
be a condition of approval.
We can just work that out,
Yeah.
okay.
DNR Canal Commission does a longer look back than DEP on stormwater and impervious. They actually go back to 1980.
Yes.
Okay.
It's kinda crazy.
Okay,
That's probably why they're asking.
okay. But we can
That
make
could
it
be
a condition or of approval, taking care of it, if
for
there's
the
approval.
checklist item.
If there's approval, make it a condition, okay.
Yeah, cause they'll have to get DNR Canal Commission either approval or them telling us they don't need to review it.
Okay, yep,
So that'd be an outside agency approval,
okay, which is always a condition,
correct?
okay. Anyone else have any questions on this one? No?
Are we gonna have any questions about, I'm new to this one, this whole application, I'm still trying to sift through everything, but one of my questions is gonna be, what did this whole property start out as, and how was it divided up over time? And I'm sure that there is a subdivision deed out there from the county, because they obviously divided off acreage. I just, what did that end up being, and what was left over, because there's, when I see the previous approvals, they talk about dividing the property into two, 3-acre lots, but that's not what happened in the end. I'm just kind of questioning for myself, what did we end up doing here? Because now we have, a 12-acre piece, and then that's being divided into an 11-acre piece and a 1.6. How did that come about? And
So would it
so
be,
maybe I haven't found the answer yet, reviewing all this stuff, but
so let me let Mr. Matt, I think he knows the answer, but then we'll also make sure we work on making sure that you have it in a concise way, so let me,
Yeah. So, I guess the original tract was about 68 acres.
right, okay.
And then the county needed property to offset impervious coverage, drainage, and they were planning on putting in large bathrooms. That never came about or anything like that. So the property still sits behind Eric's property, vacant, farm fields.
but they bought, the county bought.
They bought it, correct.
How much did the county buy?
47 acres.
Okay, so 68 minus 47,
Okay.
give or take.
Yeah, give or take.
That's
So-
21.
So, well, prior to that, there was also a subdivision for the grandfather, or her father, and that's the 2601, which is the property to the right, that's 2.5 acres. And then the remaining lot after the subdivision was 9 acres and change. That was the one that was supposed to have two undersized lots come out of it, okay? Where all those numbers were, 2.5, 3, 7 acre, it really was unclear. When I spoke to Eric, I have a survey which kind of reflected his deeds, okay? One lot went to his daughter, and that's 2.5 acres, and that's what is now 2602. But on the survey he had, it claimed to be proposed 2603, and land remaining was supposed to be 2602, and that lot was just under 7 acres. I assumed when I entered this that that lot was an actual lot, because we had a survey and we have his deed which said his lot contained lot 26 and land remaining of 2602. So there was a lot of going back and forth, and unfortunately I've had an attorney pass away, and I've had to go to another attorney who really didn't do a very good job digging into the history of this. And then basically what we came down to was, it really appeared like the intent of the deal was to have one conforming lot with 2 undersized, following that 1.5 to 3 acre. And with our proposed subdivision, it would give those 2 lots the daughter Jennifer's lot, which is 2.5 acres, and then the current property owner would be getting 1.6 acres, and it would still have just a little over 11, which would be a conforming lot for your zoning.
Were title searches done on all these lot numbers, just to make sure that there was no, if you create a lot by subdivision, it's either done by a map that's recorded in the clerk's office or by subdivision deeds that would be signed by the township. And then they should be recorded within so many days, 190 days, so, of a subdivision. So, like, if those deeds don't exist, you know, there's no subdivision deed, there's no recorded subdivision map, then the lot doesn't exist. It wasn't subdivided.
And that's what
That's
what we're dealing with.
That's what
Yep.
we ended up finding out, that
Okay.
that one that was on that map, for some reason, which was the lands remaining 2602,
does not
doesn't
exist.
exist.
Okay, so it's
And
part of
that's-
something else then.
well, it's for
Still
some,
part
it's
of the
still
other lot, the
it's-
mother
well,
lot?
It's held in his deed says 26 and lands remaining 26. There's a disconnect somewhere,
Yeah.
and we can't find it.
I thought the story was that the county said that they could subdivide it, but they
Well-
didn't perfect it by
Correct.
having it
Correct.
That's where
firm.
we are.
And that's
So-
where we're at, because it
So
wasn't
the
with
intention was there.
yeah.
But the
and-
paper
and
wasn't
then
there.
life conspired to make it difficult to follow through.
And that's what we came up with the title searches and everything like that. And how, even my engineer said, they don't understand how her lot became 2602, because it actually got subdivided out of 2602, and he says that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd be guessing, you know. Well, I mean,
So-
tax assessor is the one who signs lot numbers, even though they might appear a certain way on a
Yeah.
map, you know.
So like I said,
so-
we went round and round and round, and basically came to the conclusion that it was never perfected properly.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like, yeah, the county got what they wanted, and
Yeah.
it was kind of left to figure out.
So, for the purposes of this application, knowing that there is this history and the lot numbers get all confusing, would it make sense, and this is just me putting it out there, to sort of like, here's what it looked like in 1962, and I'm taking a random date that was before all this, right? And here's what we want it to look like at the end, and include the original plot and all the other plots.
Just for history, because,
Yes,
I mean,
and also so that we can follow the story. And
Yeah.
you're looking at me like you don't like this idea.
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the tax map.
I mean, the board's already decided that for the purposes of, the ordinance that we're dealing with here is a, lot averaging ordinance. Is that what we're asking a variance from?
No.
What are we?
This is
No.
density.
It's density, I'm
It's
sorry.
density.
So it's
Using
density, but we're
the
using a
12 acre
12 acre lot to
Instead of the
determine.
full, right.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the,
Correct.
the, regulations under the Amwell Valley Agricultural District, and we're looking at the like we're
So
starting
it's
with
a,
the 12 acre
is
lot.
it it's a 15 acre minimum or a 10 acre minimum?
10.
So it's a 10 acre minimum, and so we now have a 12 acre lot that we're gonna turn into a 10 and a 2, correct? Like, give or take?
11
11 and a
1.6.
1.6.
11 and 1 point, okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah, so,
The tax map shows 26 at 12 and a half, 2601 at an acre and a half, and 2602 at 2.5 acres. And then 2501, which is the county lot, is 89 acres.
They merged it, that's
They
why
merged
it's
everything
89.
in,
Which
that
they said they were
47
gonna
acre
do
piece.
at the beginning, when they had their approval, they said they would merge it with their,
their
Mhm.
47
After they
acres that they had
Yeah.
taken from 26.
And what year was the county subdivision?
2005, 2006.
Oh, was that long ago?
Yeah. That's part of what this is, we're dealing with really long time periods,
Yeah.
and so,
And a lot of unclarity.
and a lot of unclarity.
so is the tax map treating this as if it was already subdivided?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are.
26 exists, it's on the tax map.
26, well, that is this lot, is 26,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it shows the portion the county purchased is now merged with
Yeah,
the fairgrounds
okay.
property.
2501, yeah.
But there are no, so this one, we want to divide, or the applicant wants to divide it into 11 and then 1.6.
Correct.
There's no 11 and 1.6 shown on the tax map.
No, it's
That's-
25.6,
Okay, all right.
12.6.
I mean, as far as 12.6,
Yeah, I mean, one way to look at this is just look at these, just look at this and say, can we divide this? And you're gonna look at it and say, well, why? And then we can go through the pros and the cons and the
To meet
and
the-
the tests, right?
Yeah.
And in that conversation, possibly some of the history comes in, but instead of trying to solve the whole history, let's.
I was just trying to understand
no.
where- what we were looking at big picture wise.
Yeah, no, fair
You know,
enough.
Where did this, how did this start? Because there was so much material submitted, and then I could see that, you know, there were changes made over time. Well, now we're gonna do this, now we're gonna do that, and we're down to, you know,
Yeah,
this
and then to me, that's why I'm saying,
okay.
what, there's so much information, it's almost like, for me, maybe that almost is too much. It's just like, let's focus on the 12,
Yeah,
and knowing that the history will come in as part of the story, but that's,
12.6 acre lot that wants to be subdivided,
right,
but doesn't meet the density, so that's a
yeah,
T5.
and then we can go through the
right.
proofs.
The history might be relevant to the proofs.
The
Correct,
history, yes,
correct,
I would
Yeah.
agree.
exactly,
What
but
they're
the
planning to do
actual,
with
but the
that.
actual, but the actual,
Tom Stern.
Oh, Thompson's, okay.
Yeah.
Tom- So,
Yeah, that's part of the
Oh.
proofs. It's just, I'm just trying to, you know, picture this
get your
whole thing
head,
in my
yeah, cause there's a lot of
That's-
history, yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'll
it
make,
is.
I'll make sure that Tom understands that the history will be important to the board.
In the proofs,
in the proofs.
That'll be part of it, yeah, but I mean, you wanna get the big picture, and look, it doesn't have to be exhaustive, but just kind of what happened between when the county subdivided it and up to now and what you're proposing.
Okay.
okay.
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with the whole preservation process, having done it for like, I don't know, 20-something years, you know, so I understand the county agreements and how this, I can understand what happened here, you know, but I just trying to get the picture of what the property looked like,
Yeah.
you know, back in,
Yeah, and I think it got confusing because of the history and also the history of it being here before under a different, with a different approach. I'm just gonna leave it at that, so.
okay.
I try to put that aside and sort of look at this new.
Yeah.
It's a new application, it's an application for the zoning board, they're asking for a D5 variance,
Yeah,
so,
okay, very good,
okay.
thanks.
So may I have a motion to find this application complete and schedule a hearing?
Grant the waivers.
Oh,
With the
sorry,
waivers
and
that
grant
are
the waivers,
recommended.
yep. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, you have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Okay, your application is complete, we'll work with Katie to schedule.
Thank
Maybe
you.
maybe as soon as
Good
November,
job.
All right, that would be great. Thank you.
okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll take a 2-minute recess and go get Al and Dante and be back. Nice.
You may have it. Yes.
So, what happened with lot averaging is that somebody decided that was gonna be, like the most predictable path to a permit, which it absolutely wasn't, because it wasn't a zoning board, it was everyone, right? And people were really concerned that this was
Stay,
gonna
wait,
set
give me 5
a
seconds, give me
precedent
longer than
that
just roll
anybody
you out
else
here,
who
okay? Is that a
Go
deal?
average, take a big lot, yeah. In order to.
or some historical years ago was gonna allow them to.
Rather than-
Record reflect, Al is in the house.
Well, Dante pointed that
You all suggest.
It's like they don't say what
Sharon, I'm gonna
zoning is.
step out when we go into executive session, talk about it. And
So
then
do
we don't broadcast it.
After the, all the doors should be closed.
Okay.
Executive, and then you
Are you going to
can just.
executive now?
Yeah.
Want me to do it first?
Yeah,
And so someone should
Okay.
make a motion to go into executive and open.
okay,
You can, then you'll approve that,
okay.
and then you go in, and, you
Just
know,
one second.
everybody's out.
You're
And then when
right.
you come out of executive,
You
then
say what you,
in, in public, you just say, we discussed personnel.
Okay.
Um,
okay,
you know, any news to be made public at a later date or something, or no action needs to be
Okay.
taken, and then you can just adjourn the meeting.
okay, okay. I asked,
No, and I think
Jim to stay around because I want to talk
They should just-
to Dante about some process stuff. Told him if we take more than 5 or 10 minutes, he can leave without me.
So, do you need me any more than I'm done?
You can go, I think, I think we're good.
Okay. Have a good night.
But I should start the recording again, read the resolution, and then
I'll
stop.
wait until you do that.
Okay.
Make sure, she's gonna make sure we do it right. Thank you, Sharon.
Sharon, you absolutely can't leave before 8 o'clock, that's just the rule.
I vote
Okay.
to reject the rule.
Yep, go ahead. We are back in session. We're back online, right? Okay.
Whereas it is necessary for the planning board to discuss personnel matters, and whereas NJSA 10-4-12 permits the planning board to conduct a meeting from which the public is excluded in order to discuss personnel matters, and whereas the time and circumstances under which discussion conducted in a closed session may be disclosed to the public is when appropriate, now therefore be it resolved on this 21st day of October 2025, that the planning board shall conduct a closed session to discuss personnel matters.
So I have to ask for a motion. So may I have a motion to
I
adopt?
so move.
You know,
Second.
Second. All in favor? Okay,
Aye.
we are gonna go into closed session. When we come out, we will tell everyone what we discussed. Okay,
Dante,
thank you.
I can stop the stream periodically. I just want to make sure I'm not.
Let's make sure we're not.
Audio's
thank
off
you.
as well.
Did you close already?
I closed the door.
All right, I'll, go.
Thank you.
Public, do you
I'm
wanna
entertaining a
speak?
motion.
Yes. Tell me when,
All right.
Katie.
We're good.
Okay, we are back. We have completed our closed session. We had a conversation about our professionals. No decisions were, no votes were taken. And at this point, there's nobody here from the public, so I will not open to the public. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned.
All right.
Wow, we did this in an hour.
Good meeting.